Hey man, how are you doing today? So before we get to your overall trading journey, why don't you just introduce yourself to our audience?
Well, hello guys. My name is Lafayette Jones. I'm 23 years old. I'm originally from the Netherlands, but I grew up on this little island called St. Eustatius that is in the Caribbean. And now for 5 years, I'm back here in the Netherlands pursuing higher education.
Amazing. So what's your background? What's your field of study?
I studied international business management. Before then, I did aerospace, but I found out it wasn't necessarily for me. So I did something more in the business background because ever since I was younger, I was always entrepreneurial switched on. So I just naturally gravitated towards that field later on.
All right. So are you a part-time trader or a full-time trader?
I'm currently juggling my last year of college and being a full-time trader right now at the moment. We're coming on to the summer vacation, so I have full freedom to pursue full-time trading.
So how do you basically manage your time between studying, trading, and your personal life?
You don't. You don't. Um, it's sometimes it's either or, but luckily for me, unluckily with the COVID came coming in, school's been online
Mm-hmm.
even till now, so it's been doable for the most part.
All right. So when did you start your trading journey?
Um, that's a funny story. It was around when I was 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It came because I got a history class, ironically, about the stock market crash
Mm-hmm.
in 1929. And I was so fascinated about the concept of like I could own a stock of Google, Microsoft, whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
ever since then, I first opened an investing.com account and then just played around with it. And then maybe when I seriously started trading seriously was around 6 years ago, six
Mm-hmm.
plus years ago. And that's when I seriously started trading.
All right. So you started trading 6 years ago. How was your
Yeah.
experience as a beginner?
Well, starting very young, it was a bit difficult because you don't have the money to necessarily see courses. So it
Mm-hmm.
was plenty of time on Google and trying to find different stuff. And it's hard to find free content, especially back then.
Exactly.
So it took a lot longer than it otherwise would if I were more of an adult and had more job coming in to pay for education.
All right. So why trading? Why not another profession?
That's a good question. Actually, trading is far from my first endeavor. Um, I've tried so many different stuff. I tried an MLM once. I tried affiliate marketing. I tried domain name flipping. I tried fixing computers. Tried selling bikes. So many different endeavors, and then trading, just the one that stuck, and I never looked back. Why trading in particular was because compared to other industries, trading, you could see what you do wrong, and it's very dependent on you. You don't have to go sell nobody, you don't have to sell anything to anybody, you don't have to harass anyone. It's all you and the charts. And you can see what you did wrong, and you can imagine yourself in a parallel universe. I could have been on the right side of that trade and made money. So that appeal really stuck with me in trading.
Exactly. This is by far one of the most precise informations that I've got about why anyone started trading. So sounds amazing. So you started trading 6 years ago. What was
Yeah.
your initial account balance then?
I first got into binary options, and uh, my first potential balance was $60, and it was binary options.
All right. So do you remember your first trade?
My first trade when I was 15, it was a water company that stocks, and
Mm-hmm.
my first binary option trade was, I think it was just your versus USD binary options, and I lost it. So, yeah.
All right. So what's the biggest obstacle you think that restricts anyone to become a successful trader?
Um, Sticking to one discipline slash strategy. I myself, I've subscribed to several different strategies throughout my years, and
Mm-hmm.
I believe I wasted lots of time with it. I did Elliott waves, moving average crosses, no nonsense forex. Some of you viewers might be familiar with that. Even now, what I'm doing, some only concepts. I've there's so many different ways to view the markets, and
Exactly.
if you just hop from place to place to place, you just waste so many time. And I believe if you look at it objectively, most things or plenty of things do work. There isn't one way of trading, but you have to have the maturity to stick to it. And being on social media and seeing other people achieving other stuff, and you want to go on there, go there. Your focus is everywhere, and I believe that's a very large detriment to most traders.
So, what's the difference between the first ever trade that you have ever taken versus your most recent trades? What has changed along the way?
Well, for one, I was trading binary options, which is like a scam, if for those who are in the know. But secondly, it was more for one, I didn't understood the concept of indicators and stuff like that. I still don't use indicators, but I didn't understand. I was just looking at price, trying to find the momentum and buying when it's going up and selling when it's going down. Now I look at more in a more of a fight between the buyers and sellers in the market. I try to see where people are getting in and use that to my advantage for my trades, entries. And I'm more strategic with my risk. I could take losses more. I take more losses on the chin. Still affects me, but I'm much better at taking losses now than I was before then.
All right. So you have told us about different strategies that people follow, Elliott waves, certain patterns, maybe perhaps smart money concepts. So what's your trading strategy?
Well, I trade smart money concepts in particular. Even that is very broad, but I trade smart money concepts, and I particularly trade it on the indices, NASDAQ 100, S&P 500, and the US 30.
All right. So what are the things that you basically look for when you are executing a trade?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. What I look for is I follow a higher time frame analysis, but the main entry is following the 50-minute structure. And then from the 50-minute structure, I look for liquidity sweeps, and then in what we call inducement. If possible, I could share the screen, and then I could show you guys real quick what I look for.
Yeah, sure. You're more than welcome.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Right. Well, here, for example, here's some charts I have. I could share this in the description of the video if that's cool with you guys. So your viewers could take a look at it and see what they want for themselves.
Yeah, sure.
But basically, I just follow the 50-minute structure as you see on this chart here. And then within that, I look for simple structural liquidity, the order block. This is what we call an order block. I look for sweeps of the order block, and then taps on, and then it reacts. Pretty simple, day in and day out. Sweep, sell side liquidity, tap, sell. Following 50-minute structure. So trend is your friend, basically. Here we see 50-minute structure up here. Tap the order block, get a reaction, sweep, tap, buy. Basics.
All right, that was amazing. So
thank you.
So can you share the story behind developing this strategy? Because this is an amazing strategy. And what was the story behind it, overall story, and what were the things?
Well, it's a good one, because like I said, I've been all over the place. Even in smart money concept, there are many ways to enter. And I've dabbled with them all. I've dabbled on seconds. I've done all this and that. And it just came to a point where I don't know, it was like a whisper I heard of people doing very well on the indices. And I just hopped in, and I see the price action is very, very clean in comparison to Euro versus USD, which is the main pair small money concept traders trade. And when I jumped on it, and I see it's much clearer, and on my first trade, I made good returns, and I was like, oh, okay, we're onto something. And from then, I just stuck with the three pairs, and you learn them, you learn their personalities, because I believe pairs do have personalities, and some move different than others. And then you see it, and then you're like, okay, this makes a lot more sense. And so I just pay all of the fancy, sexy stuff. You see some people getting 100-to-1 trades, which enticed me to go into that. And I was making some profits, but it was so complex and intense. When this is much more laid back and more quantifiable, if I could say that. So that's what led me down this particular way of trading. Big shout out to Black Swan Forex and Millennial Trading Group. They are really putting me on. I'll also drop those in the description if that's possible.
All right. So the way I see it, you should always focus on either indices or forex, because both of the markets have some different characteristics. So do you basically trade indices or forex?
Just indices. When I was trading my forex USD and indices, I find it very difficult to follow both of them at the same time. I have 4 screens right now, and it's still difficult. So that was like I couldn't manage. So I just stuck with indices because that yield the highest returns for me.
What was your recent best trade?
My recent best trade.
Yeah.
I had a 25-to-1 like a month ago. Yeah, I mean it ran 90-to-1, but that was before I was trading with FundedNext. I was trading with my forex fund, and I was confused with the rule where if I lose 5% of equity, I would be out of the trade. Well, I would lose my account, so I closed it. But that was not. I misinterpreted the rule. So what could have been a 90-hour trade was a 25-hour trade, but still good returns. But it was very a tough pill to swallow. Let's say that.
So what's your average risk-reward ratio?
All said and done, it's around, number-wise, the software says it's 4-to-1, but ideally I will target trades that go to 10-to-1. The reason it's 4-to-1 is because you have break-even and stuff like that. But ideally targeting 10-to-1s and up is what I go for.
10-to-1 risk-reward ratio. That's amazing. So how do you manage your stop losses?
Come again, sorry?
How do you manage your stop losses? What's your average stop loss?
Well, about 1,000 points. It's a little weird for indices because some people says it's 1,000 points versus 100 points. But with forex, it's pips, plotted pips. So it's around 1,000 points. However, you could convert that 1,000 points.
So don't you find it hard to maintain 1,000 points in indices, because at some points it can get risky. At the same time, there are times that the price goes in severe drawdown. So how do you cope up with those things?
Well, because when you have such small stop losses, the price has to move a lot less to see higher returns. So to reduce risk, you just simply drop your percentage of risk. I don't risk any more than 0.25% per trade. So it's well calculated. It might sound risky at first, but I'm not going a full 1%, 2% per trade. It's 0.025 because I do expect losing trades sometimes as well. And having that smaller chunk size, it doesn't kill your account on the first 2-3 trades. All right.
So why did you basically join FundedNext? What motivated you to join FundedNext?
FundedNext had the best compromises, the best characteristics of all the top players like FTMO, my forex fund, namely the low spreads, the low slippage, you can hold over the weekend, nowhere equity rule, and high leverage. Just to list a few. So, and for a good cost. Affordable, so those really drew me to FundedNext in particular.
All right. So, what's the thing you like most about FundedNext among all the things you have said?
FundedNext, holding over the weekend. And you could trade during news. You can't open a trade and close a trade, but if you have a trade open and it somehow hits you whatever from long ago, that's fine. And that's a good minor distinction that other companies don't have, which is very good, and it encourages you to hold trades, especially when you're holding indices. You can hold trades for much longer and see crazy returns. And having a company that facilitates this environment to trade in such a manner is very beneficial, I believe.
What do you think about the 15% profit share?
Game changer, game changer, game changer. That was good. My biggest gripe with joining funded companies was I'm making 15% phase one or phase two. I'm making 15% for free, and especially if you're not funded already.
Yeah,
it's kind of like it's what's the point? But 15% really it's good. It's really good. It's really good. It's really a smart idea. What I especially enjoy about you smaller companies that innovates this way is it inspires the bigger players to copy you, to be more competitive. So these innovations benefits the whole prop firm community.
When we basically introduced this 15% profit share, we had one thing in mind, that was appreciating our traders in their demo phase, in their challenge phase, because there are traders who are excellent, but they don't get enough appreciation for all the efforts they have put in the demo phase. So basically that was our purpose, and I think we are successful in that.
Yeah, it was very smart idea, actually.
All right, so we're about to end our conversation. Before that, would you like to say to our traders about why they should join FundedNext?
Should join FundedNext? Well, you guys are affordable. You're getting in in a young company, so you're gonna be in the group fairly young, and there might be a first mover advantage. You know what might happen in the future. Things might change, so you can get in now early. It's good. You guys are good. There's no slippage. I heard about the thing about demo 3, but for the most part, no slippage. Good trading criteria. There's quick staff. What's this called? Sorry. The customer service is very quick. Large community, and it's growing every day.
All right. So thanks, Mr. Jones, for having us today, and it was a really pleasure talking to you. I wish you all the best in the trading journey, and I wish to disburse the fastest payout possible to you along the way.
Thank you.
And anything you would like to add to our fellow traders? Any suggestions, any feedbacks to our fellow traders?
Yeah, just 3 particular tips, pieces of advice. For reflecting upon myself, is just find a system that works and stick with it. Like I said, I've wasted so much time going from place to place to place to place, when in actuality, most of it probably works if you just stick with it long enough and have the maturity to see it to the end. 2 is try limiting your media exposure, social media exposure. Well, that's a big thing, because if you're just on the cusp of seeing real success, you're getting 5% in a month. You go on social media, you see these guys over here are doing 10% a week. Now all of a sudden you're feeling insignificant, and you want to go to what they're doing. And social media is a highlight reel. It might not be all glitter and glamour, so it will pull you away from what you're doing. And yeah, lastly, build a team. The same way you're going to the gym or going to school, you have friends and people who you work with. You need to build a team of people to hold you accountable and work together. For me, it's been a guy in the UK called Nick, and a guy here, my neighbor actually, called Rachel. We work together. We talk almost every day about the markets. We hold each other accountable. Find yourself a team. What mistake people often do is they look for people who are already successful, but you have to build with people who are just in the same level as you. Exactly. Where you guys could hustle, because a person who's already at the top, they don't owe you anything, Yeah. You got to work with people who are at your level, who wants to work just as much as you do.
How do I say thank you in Dutch?
Dank je wel.
Thank you well.
Geen dank. That means you're welcome.
Oh, thanks, man. All right. So thank you for having us today, and we hope to interview you soon in the upcoming days, and best of luck with your trading.
Thank you. This has been a big honor. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye then.
Bye.
Thank you everyone for watching. We'll come back soon with another video. Till then, stay tuned.